I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpm.fm to discover more.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
The Sparkfile podcast may contain profanity and other adult content. Please use your discretion.
When I bump into something that inspires me, I dump it in my spark file. Could be something that I want to make or how I want to be. I pump it in my spark file. I jump into my spark file. Let's open up the spark file.
Welcome to the Town Hall Spark Sessions. I'm Laura Camion.
And I'm Susan Blackwell. We are creativity coaches at the Spark File, where we help people fear less and create more.
As creatives ourselves, we're obsessed with one of the most dynamic cultural centers in New York City, the Town Hall.
For over a century, the Town Hall has been a champion for artistry and advocacy, amplifying the voices of icons and emerging artists alike.
And now the Spark File and the Town Hall have joined forces to elevate and celebrate artists who are gracing the stage at the Town Hall and using their creativity to fight for the powers of good.
So without further ado, let's get into the Town Hall Spark Sessions. Laura Camion.
Yeah?
I have got a good spark for you today. I had the pleasure of having a conversation with Sara Bareilles.
Oh my gosh.
Sara is such a special artist and a special human being. Many of our listeners may know her from her music, hit songs like Love Song. I'm not going to write you a love song, Laura.
I'm not going to do it. Not today.
Not today, baby. Brave, Gravity, King of Anything, and then things like the hit Broadway show Waitress, which features songs like She Used to Be Mine.
That song.
So good. I think I've said this to her maybe the last time she was on the Sparkfile podcast. One of my favorite songs that she does is her arrangement and cover of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Anybody? Do yourself a favor.
So good.
Go dial that up. It is so good. So we are talking with her today because she is going to be appearing at the Town Hall on September 15th as a part of a concert celebrating Rufus Wainwright's musical opening night. We talked about this with Laura Benanti as well. So this event is also going to feature performances by Laura Benanti, as well as Darren Criss and Patti LuPone and a bunch of other stars, and all of it will benefit the ACLU. In addition to being a completely inspiring creative, Sara is also one of my favorite humans. She's just the best.
She really is inspired and inspiring.
She really is. So let's get into it with Sara Bareilles. Welcome, Sara Bareilles, and thank you so much for joining us on the Town Hall Spark Sessions podcast. We are so happy to have you here, you beautiful angel.
Oh, you beautiful angel. Mutual Admiration Society. That's what we're in.
For reals, 100%. I'm going to ask you a little handful of questions, but before I do, can you tell all of us, how do you identify creatively speaking?
I think as I have, blossomed and evolved as an artist, my perspective on that has gotten wider and wider and wider, and I identify in a lot of different ways as an artist. And usually when people ask me what I do, I just say artist, because it feels like it encapsulates so much. But I think when I was starting out, I was very sort of strictly saw myself as a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And then that has sort of expanded into actor. I feel like my activism lives in that, in artistry as well. Producer, author, composer. I wouldn't say dancer yet, but I can dance.
But a mover.
And a shaker.
I love hearing you say artist, because I have observed in real time how the container that would be able to hold all of the parts of your creativity has just expanded and expanded and expanded, and it feels so limitless. So I feel like we're right on the precipice of dancer.
We can only hope, Susan. We can only hope that the world will receive the gift of that I'm ready to give as a dancer.
I feel like we planted the seed here today. You are a part of something really cool that's coming up at Town Hall on September 15th. It's a concert celebrating Rufus Wainwright's musical opening night. Can you please tell me more about this?
So I am, like many people, a lifelong Rufus stan. I have listened to his work for so many, many years, and he remains one of the sort of principal artists that I think I started consuming a lot of at a really important, pivotal kind of creative time for me. And I think his ambition as an artist and as a sonic designer was so mind-blowing to me. And it was he was like another Radiohead, obviously in a different world, but I was like, oh my God, there's so much you can do with music. And I think his voice remains a singularity, and I love and am in awe of how he uses his incredible instrument. So yeah, I sang with Rufus for the first time. We did a duet of my song "She Used to Be Mine" from Waitress at the Kennedy Center before it was taken over by President Grump. And we got in under the line before that incredible institution was unfortunately mangled, but it will return. I know it will.
Yeah.
But we did these incredible concerts, and Rufus joined me for the first night of the concert. So that was the first time we got to engage as artists together. And then he asked if I was around for this, a concert, not even a reading. It's just a concert of the music of opening night. And I said, yes, I will kind of go where he goes. I'm just following the leader here.
I'm so excited about this. The source material, him, the artists that he's bringing together, and it all benefits the ACLU.
Yes.
So the activism piece, which is so perfect for Town Hall. And
Yes.
I love that you're part of this. All right. Besides this upcoming event at Town Hall, what is sparking your creativity right now?
Grief.
Say more.
So I'm working on a record right now, and it is almost exclusively about grief.
Oh my God, Sara.
And it is, yes, about losing friends, which I know we have all done in many ways over the last, this is the first music that I've put out since the pandemic. And I think since the pandemic, I have really just been steeping and stewing in grief. And I think that's a huge part of what's going on in our culture and our politics, is that there is a lot of repressed and unprocessed grief. And what happens with that is it really poisons the well, and people get very angry and scared, and they do horrible things because they're so scared of this ultimate unknowable, uncontrollable thing that is this life.
Yeah.
It's just, my therapist always reminds me in a beautiful way, even though it sounds, tender, is just that everything we love, we lose. And it is true. That is just the lesson of life over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And so grief has been, I think it's like a miracle. The intersectionality, because I think awe and wonder are braided through there as well. It's like grief and love are so intertwined. And if you can just stay open to the love of grief, the love that is woven through that experience, it's so tenderizing. It's so soft. It's so childlike,
I love hearing you talk about this. And if I can ask you, how are you taking the grief that you have experienced, are experiencing? How do you then distill that into song? Do you think something and you think it enough that you're like, I think I want to process this into music? How does that work in your creative process?
Oh, it's come from a lot of different directions. I mean, I think I would say that the more sort of focused in and deliberate, whomever the storyteller is can be for writing. Like I have a song on the record that's from the perspective of a person that's dying.
Mm.
And I have a song on the record that was inspired by a story I heard Stephen Colbert say on Anderson Cooper's incredible podcast about grief.
Yes.
I basically wrote a song about Stephen Colbert.
Does he know?
He does. I sent it to him.
Amazing.
I was like, this might be really weird, but I was so moved by that conversation.
Yeah.
I could not stop thinking about it. I highly recommend people go search for
Google
Anderson
it.
Cooper's. Yes, do it. But Stephen
beautiful.
lost his father and his brother in a plane crash when he was 10 years old. And he just talks about the fallout of that and the repercussions of that loss on his family and on his mother. And and Anderson has had so much loss in his life too. And
Yeah.
they're just really both so tender about it. It's really moving. I have grief about, oh God, children, grief about the world, grief about relationships ending, grief about just so many things to grieve.
When is this coming out?
I'm hoping for early next year.
Oh,
I would say we're probably about 75% there. So
it's so beautiful when you or any artist takes their lived experience and makes art out of it, because then it becomes something that all of us can use, whether it's a painting or an album, to process our own grief or process our own lived experience that we're sort of rumbling with. So I'm so thankful that you're making that. And I just know that it's going to be such a gift to all of us. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, I think as art tends to be, just the act of making it and the collaboration that was a part of making this record kind of did it a little bit differently. I producing it myself, and I'm co-producing with just my favorite players and bringing in there's something that I feel closer to this record than kind of any of the records I've made since my very first one.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's because the material is so intimate and so tender, or if I'm just, there's a sort of ownership over this material that I haven't felt ready to, able to, empowered enough to take until now. So I feel the act of creation is such beautiful medicine for grieving and for feeling disconnected. So I keep coming back to that, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much medicine in this for me, just making it without knowing how it will live in the world.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love it. and I love you for making it. You've already done this, but I'm going to ask you this anyway because it might yield something interesting. Tell us something real about your creative process.
I, like everyone else, get so bored of my own ideas. I'm like, yeah, that's the same song you've written 50 times before.
Oh my God. Yes, of course.
Pick something else, Sarah. Do anything else. And every once in a while, if I hit something that feels especially true, or yeah, it's really just about truth, I will sort of spontaneously start crying.
Yeah.
And it feels like a little tuning fork that gets plucked. There's just like a resonance of truth that happens, and it makes me start crying. And then I'm like, oh, I'm onto something.
Yep. Same. It is like
I
a
love that.
visceral reaction.
Yeah.
And I think different people experience it in different ways. For some people, it can be, they recognize a feeling that rises up in their body, like our eyeballs become cry balls. For some people, it can be, they'll notice a shift in the way their thoughts are processing. I love that you recognize, though, and I feel similarly. I was like, I keep making the same thing in different forms, whether it's a piece of curriculum or a song or some piece of theater. I've discovered for myself that most of the time it's about getting to freedom. It's something about freedom, freeing myself, freeing anybody that wants to come along for the ride. I wonder if you held up all those things that the tuning fork rings, if there might be a theme that runs through all of them.
Ooh, that's really interesting.
Something to look for.
I totally will. And I think that, as again, we blossom and bloom into these new decades of creativity, I think that that idea of freedom and just feeling the most uninhibited, it is the most honest you can be without any attachment to like how it shows up, what form it fits in. Just that, our job as artists, I think, is that beautiful Martha Graham quote, is to keep the channel open.
Yeah.
It's that we're supposed to keep making without any attachment to what we're making.
It's so funny to hear you say, though, that you feel like the same thing sort of rises up in you because, and maybe this has been a driver for what I'm about to say, you have done so many different kinds of things at such a high level, whether it's songwriting or starring in a sitcom or writing a Broadway musical. Like, you go in so many different directions. I would never suspect that you have any internal feelings about being repetitive.
Oh my God, yes. My partner Joe and I walked to get coffee this morning, and he was going into the coffee shop, and he's like, you want a misto? Like I normally get an Americano with a little bit of oat milk steamed. I was like, no, today I want an Americano with a little half and half. He's like, tell me more. Like, tell me why. And I was like, I just don't want to do the same thing all the time. It is like I have an allergy to it. I always have. I've always blamed the Sagittarius in me that I just get restless. But it also, I think with the writing of music in particular, I just have some limitations. Like I'm not a prolific piano player. I'm a decent piano player for what I need to do, but I can't play anything. And so the more I can stay playful and just be like, I don't have to know how to do everything. I just have to try. It's one of the things, one of my favorite poets, Andrea Gibson, talks about the trying, that like there are no good or bad people. It's just the people who are trying and the people who aren't.
I love that. I love that.
Me too.
Thank you, Andrea Gibson.
Yes.
So, as a creative, how are you navigating this particular moment in time?
One of the ways I am trying to be intentional about how I'm metabolizing this time, which feels so fraught and so inflamed and so angry, anxious, cruel, there's just so much to say about what doesn't feel great about right now. And I'm really trying to be intentional about staying soft and staying open.
Oh,
Like that I'm not allowing what I think is a real sort of cancer of the culture, this hyper individualized, I got to get what's mine,
mm-hmm.
anti-community
Mm-hmm.
sentiments, that I don't fall victim to those thinking patterns, because I really think those are ultimately just not what's good for the world. So really leaning into community, like face to face, in the same room, breathing the same air, looking in people's eyes, conversation, vulnerability, sharing, naming the pain, allowing people to see what's painful. Like that's a really intentional action right now for me.
Yeah.
And that I think that the artists and the people making art, and there are so many good people trying right now, like that it's also important to really tune into that as well. The groundswell of small coalitions and political activism and artists and just sweet people moving through the world doing the best they can to be kind to each other, that is also very much in play. But what is amplified and regurgitated over and over and over again is disaster after disaster after disaster.
Mm.
And so I'm trying to just calibrate a little bit. And I do notice, I mean, we were talking about this offline a little bit, but that getting off of things like Instagram
Mm-hmm.
is really helpful right now. Not to be uninformed about what's going on, but to balance real life with really just one sliver of what's going on.
I love that so much, Sarah. This conversation is such good medicine for me, just reminding me about staying soft, staying open, staying playful, and also really connecting with people.
Well, it's been very helpful for me, and I've had wonderful teachers and therapists, remind me and guide me towards that.
Yeah.
Those kinds of practices, because they really do make a difference on your nervous system. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it pretty quickly.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah's therapist. If you're listening, thank you. Finally, Sarah, you work so hard. You're so committed to your creativity. What's it all for?
Oh, what a beautiful question. I think it's for love, which I feel is synonymous with God, which is synonymous with people, which is synonymous with, I really believe love is the answer to everything. And I make things I love to give them as an act of love. I mean, if anything I offer strengthens the quality of a loving presence, then that's what I feel like my life's work is. That I feel proud to be in pursuit of that.
I'm here to tell you from an outsider's perspective that you are making such great use of your time on the planet. The things that you make, the love that you introduce into the world, I feel like you fight so hard for the powers of good. So for what it's worth, I feel like you're really doing it. You're really doing what you set out to do in terms of just bringing more love, more life, more love.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Susan. And I feel the same way about you.
I don't know how much time you've spent at Town Hall, but I love that you're going to be on that stage because your mission aligns so beautifully with their mission,
Totally.
your creativity, your activism. And so rock the fuck on, Sara Bareilles. Thank you.
so much.
Thank you for
And
being
yes,
here.
I'm so excited to be there. Town Hall I've been a part of so many unforgettable nights where I'm like, well, it can't possibly get better than this. And then you go back and you're like, well, it can't possibly get better than this. It is just legendary.
Thank you so much to our beautiful guest, Sara Bareilles, for joining us for the Town Hall Spark Sessions. Be sure to check her out at the Town Hall on September 15th in Rufus Wainwright's opening night, all benefiting the ACLU. Hey, and thanks to the team at the Town Hall who make all of this possible.
The Town Hall and this episode of the Town Hall Spark Sessions were made on the lands of the Lenape people.
If you'd like to learn more about the Sparkfile Creativity Coaching and how we can support you as you clarify and accomplish your creative goals, visit thesparkfile.com, and you can follow us on socials at The Sparkfile.
To learn more about the Town Hall and their exciting upcoming events, go to thetownhall.org. Follow them at Town Hall NYC and visit them at 123 West 43rd Street in the heart of New York City. It's all happening at the Town Hall.
And if something you heard inspired you to use your creativity for the powers of good, we are writing you a forever permission slip to make that thing that's been knocking at your door. It's your turn to take that spark and fan it into a flame.
We're going to wrap it up, as we love to do, with the Town Hall Ensemble. Take it away.
Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Scott Parsons. I have just realized that I don't like the sound of my own voice, which is hilarious because I've started a podcast. Here's the deal. When we are younger, let's say 8 to 10 years old, we find filters through which we relate and understand the world. They're usually artistic in nature. Sometimes we find books, music. A lot of people find movies. For me, I found musical theater. Musical theater was my little Instagram filter through which I began to relate to the world. And that meant that the reason I knew about FDR and the New Deal in school was because of Annie. And the reason I could name all 12 tribes of Israel at church was because of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And if I'm being totally honest, a few years later, as I got older, the way that I was able to process the death of my close family members was by watching Ragtime. That's why I wanted to create a podcast, was to have conversations about musical theater that felt more profound than the razzmatazz that we usually use to get people to buy tickets. Because let's be honest, I don't care if you think that musical theater is cool. Cool is overrated. I live in Los Angeles, so I know that cool is very overrated. But I do know that musical theater is important. And those are the conversations that I want to be having on this podcast. Here's how it's going to work. Every week, we're going to pick a show. And for that show, I'm going to have a guest, and we're going to have a conversation about that show, about that musical. So what are the musicals we're going to cover? These musicals can be hits. Maybe they're not. There's no shortage of musicals. Let's say, okay, the first musical to win the Tony Award for Best Musical was in 1949, Kiss Me Kate, right? So now we're in 2019. So if we just did the Best Musical winners, and that's not even including the musicals that didn't win Best Musical, like Beauty and the Beast, or West Side Story, or Wicked, or what else? Funny Girl, Gypsy. I think what will be really fun is that every guest is going to bring something different. And everybody has different tastes in terms of what they like the shows to be. Some of these shows will be some of my favorite shows. Some of them will be favorites of the guests. Some of them might be your favorites. And that might mean that we're covering a musical that I don't really care for. I'm looking at you, Mamma Mia. But it's one of the longest running shows in Broadway history, so who am I to say that people aren't connecting to it? So we'll look at it and we'll at least come up with a hypothesis as to why people connect to the show and why it's bringing them joy. So I want to hear from you. If you have an idea for a show that you would want us to cover, just email us at amusicalpodcast@gmail.com, or you can always contact us on Twitter at @amusicalpodcast. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Tell me what show you wanted us to cover, and then you have to give me a good reason. It can't just be, maybe it can just be, I did this show in my community theater and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. If that's it, just be honest. I want to hear your reasonings why. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast whenever you can, and share it with your friends, because at the end of the day, you're another day older. No, at the end of the day, I want this to be a community where people can come and celebrate this art form in a way that maybe doesn't get explored as much. So please call me Jeff and bring along your show albums, because we're about to get turned up. No, that's terrible. So please call me Jeff and get ready, because a musical theater podcast is starting now.